guys use barbed wire for fencing a lot? Is there a lot of barbed wire in that area?
Yeah, devil wire, we call it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had just lost a 31-year-old horse to a mountain lion. And not that the mountain lion even touched him, but he chased him and he went over a fence and the T-post got him in the wire.
Right.
And he's 31 years old. He wouldn't even graze over a fence. I mean, he was a really good horse. But he went over it kind of parallel, hit two T-posts on the way over. So yeah, I call it devil's wire.
Right. Right, and those T-posts, like you said, they're just a jet. I've known many people that.
And that's why we put him down. It went right into his joint. He couldn't even. And they said he'll trash that other leg.
Right.
He's too good of a horse. So
Let him suffer.
gotta go. Yeah, he's a good horse.
Do you want to say hi to our Facebook viewers?
Oh, hi, Facebook viewers. Are we ready?
Oh, yeah, we're live.
Okay, well then I'm just gonna have to share your live with my live. If my camera lady's not here.
I mean, I can start it.
No, it's fine.
Do you want me to take it?
No, we'll have enough with this. So, hi guys, Justin Dunn here, and I'm with Justin Dunn, Mustang Horsemanship. My passion is Mustang, little wild horses. How many of you here were here yesterday? Tina? Okay. So, I'm probably going to repeat a lot of the stuff that you already heard, but I'll try to throw in something new. So anyway, we have from Guffey, Colorado. Anybody know where Guffey is? Okay, little town out in Colorado, southwest of Colorado Springs, about 70 miles. We live at 9,000 feet. We're 35 miles from any town, so we're out in the middle of nowhere. No, that's the way we like it. So we live in nature with horses, and I get to learn most of what I know from a horse, and then I just come and share it with you guys. So we have 15 horses, and 7 of them are BLM Mustangs, and the others are rescue horses. So that's my passion. I kind of like the underdog or the horse that wasn't really invited into the human element properly, and we like to really learn more from them on how to help others do that properly. So we're not into traditional training methods like a lot of you might be used to. So we use a philosophy of trade places with the horse, treat them as you want to be treated if the roles were reversed. We don't use pain or fear to force a horse to submit. So there's some products that I want to show you today that we use, made by Weaver Leather. I'm actually sponsored by Weaver Leather and a few other sponsors. And I only use products that are really solutions to problems, so to speak. So a lot of the clients, I also train horses all over the United States, do clinics all over the United States. So, help people build a relationship with their horse and do it properly. Create that willing partner in your relationship so that you can go together to do the mission. And what I mean by that is all of my horses were rescue horses or BLM Mustangs, and we use those in a trail ride business and in a camp for children with cancer. This May we're starting a new program for at-risk children off the Indian reservations, and we'll use those same horses to self-discovery through horsemanship is the focus, but to help those children see these horses that were not really dealt with correctly in the beginning, and we if you want to call it rehab, I really call it like just invite them into the human element properly, and then they'll start to see a different side of things. So I'll talk about some of these products and how we use them to establish that relationship with horses. Any questions? Okay. Does anybody have any questions so far that you want to have? Okay. Does anybody know what this is? It's a lead rope and halter. It wasn't a hard question. So
Trick question.
yeah, right? What is this? Because I never know what level people are at whenever we go to clinics, and I'll say, hand me that halter. Sometimes people are like, what's that? Oh, this is a halter. So we have a halter here. Anyways, well, this is a web halter, and this is a rope halter, just in case you didn't know. So I'm going to take this web halter off, this is a good halter too. We actually make this. Weaver Leather makes this. Run out there and buy a couple. They're out there. What we'll do is we'll establish a clear line of communication with every horse that we come into contact with. And I've designed a series of questions. A 5-part series is what I call it. And it's a series of 5 questions I'll ask every horse to engage in a conversation. And the questions are simple. It's to ask a horse to back up, move left, move right, come forward, ground tie. Once I can establish that conversation and that communication with that horse, I can learn. I usually do clinics with live horses, so this is I'm learning, trying to learn from him. And I kid you not, I'll do things. I have him in the corner of my eye, and I'll do things as I talk to you guys. And like the other day, yesterday, I was going to swing this thing. I was like, I can't, I'll scare the horse. Oh yeah, he's not even there. So, part of this demonstration is about products. So it's real intricate to have the proper tool for the job. Communication is what we're trying to establish for the horse. So the equipment that you use, or that I use, is very important. I'll use this rope halter because it's small, it's thin, the horse can feel it. It's more like focusing that pressure properly so he gets the best connection and communication. Then I'll use a heavy 12-foot yacht cord. So this small, thin rope is like spreading surface area, so to speak. It's more focused. It's like if I poke Bubba, or if I push Bubba, it's spreading that surface area with my hand. It's a lot broader, like a web halter. Or if I point and push, it's more focused. So this is a more focused communication tool, I guess you could call it. And this being heavy, I don't have to throw as much energy down this line to get him a signal, or get him communication. So what we'll do is we'll start soft on all of our questions. And Bubba, he's not going to back up, but generally if I wiggle this rope, I can back the horse up, and then you release this to say thank you. So good job, Bubba. And then the thing he's really good at is ground tie. So we'll leave him ground tie while we talk. So these silver tip halters are made by Weaver Leather. The yacht cords are made by Weaver Leather, and Big D's will sell them. So it's a great piece of equipment that we'll use to establish this clear line of communication with the horses. As we move forward, I will show you this bitless bridle. So we don't use bits and we don't use spurs. Communication with our horses. I have to have horses that, a lot of the horses that I have already been, we'll call abused, or haven't been properly introduced to the human element and the domestication process. I learn a lot from the wild horses. They come to me, they've never been touched by another human, so anything that they're doing, it's because of me. So I'll learn from them with that 5-part series how to make changes here and present what I expect from them. So it's when they come into that human element and that domestication process, I have to present what I expect. I want a calm, quiet, confident horse, especially if I'm going to put children with cancer or at-risk children on their backs and expect them to help me with this mission. So that's what I want to do. I want to create that willing partner that wants to be with me to help me with a mission that's much bigger than myself or the horse. And when you can present that to a wild horse that doesn't know anything, he doesn't even know to fear a human. You'd have to actually show him pain or fear because he doesn't understand that yet. He may be alert and attentive and like trying to figure you out. But if you present in that belief system that we have, where you present the best version of yourself to that horse and create that willing partner, that's what he's going to understand. That's what he's going to know, and he becomes very loyal. And then he really tries to learn. He wants to learn. It's like, now what? What are you going to do now? And that's what kind of horses I have to have in the tourist business and the trail ride business and the camps for children. So implementing these things, this proper equipment, proper use of equipment is very important. I never want that horse to fear anybody on his back, on the ground. He just doesn't know fear. So my wild horses, I have the best world, I tell you. I get tourists from all over the world come and ride my horses. So I take them on horses I have intimate relationships with, and we go ride in the mountains. And I've taken over 3,000 different people riding in the mountains. So I get to take notes on my horses that I know very well and how those people are interacting with them. So just taking those notes, it helps me become better horsemen to help other people become better horsemen. So it's really cool. It's really cool. One of the things that I really enjoy is seeing a horse that was not properly introduced to the human element get another chance and really embrace the human element. Love being with people and love doing the job for people. So this is the way we start. We have those philosophies, trade places with your horse, treat them as you'd want to be treated. We don't use bits or spurs. And not that I'm anti-bit, anti-spur. I've got to say that at every clinic because people think, oh gosh, this guy, he don't want to talk to me because I use a bit. No, I'm anti-abuse with a bit or spurs or equipment in general. Horses are not, they are a big animal, but they're not something that we can beat up on. They don't like that. They're actually, what attracts me to a horse so much is that they are so strong yet so gentle. That's impresses me the most. You know, I've played with some of the horses that have been stamped by, you know, BLM, untrainable. You can't train them. And my wife rides them, and she's not a horse person. And he's the only horse she'll ride out of my whole herd. So I just don't believe that a horse is untrainable, or I haven't run into one yet, and I've been doing this a long, long time. You know, you present what you expect from the horse. Now, I've run into horses that take 2 years to get them to where I desire them to be, but that's the key. It takes time, it takes commitment, it takes persistence. You know, you think ahead, and you prepare, and you practice, and then you get what you want. You know. Any questions so far? I'm that good? I mean, really? No questions? Okay, yes.
No, I'm giving you the thumbs up.
Oh, right on. Okay, so on the halter and lead rope, this is the exact piece of equipment that I'll use to establish clear line of communication with horses. If a real horse was here, I would give you a demo, but it's not. So yesterday we played with a little BLM Mustang, real close to here. It's on Big D's Facebook page. So you guys that are watching now, if you didn't see that, check out Big D's Facebook page and look for that video we shot yesterday at noon. And we did, about an hour. We played with that horse. And you can kind of see where we were going with 5-part series and asking that horse questions. And you can see how she was like, oh, I don't know what you want. And then she started coming around to understanding. And by the end of it, you know, I don't know if we got it on video. I think we shut it off, but we started petting her and playing with her. She's just like, she's guarded. And that's the thing. When a horse is not properly introduced to the human element and the domestication process isn't met properly, those horses go guarded. It's just like us. If somebody doesn't treat you right, you're going to guard yourself. Same thing with the horse. And that's misconception of, oh, that's a bad horse, or that horse he's trash, or he's crazy, or he's untrainable. No, he's just doing what he's supposed to do. He's guarding himself against what he was taught. You know, hey, I don't agree with this. I don't agree with this type of training. I don't agree with this domestication process that you're putting upon me. But whenever we do it correctly, the horse opens up and he lets his guard down and he starts to join and want to be a partner in this relationship and go with you to do your mission. So this piece of equipment right here is probably, you know, I would say it's second to my bitless bridle, because I just probably have to say that. But if I really had to pick one piece of equipment to play with the horse, it'd probably be this lead rope and halter, because I could throw a rein around and ride him and still be able to communicate with him. So we're moving along. Once a horse understands those 5 questions, I can move him on the ground. I want to transfer to his back and ask him the same questions. And we always ask softly, and then we increase the intensity of the question to get the desired responses. So I'll use a bitless bridle. This is a bridle that I designed. Weaver Leather manufactures it, ships it all over the world, and it's an asking device. And I present this to you as another option. You know, you may be riding right now, and you maybe have a bit in your horse's mouth, or maybe not. But it's one of those things. You can go bitless, and you can ask the same questions to your horse, and he can concentrate on you more than the equipment that you're using. And that's really why I designed this. I started, the way I got into this is, we had a trail ride of 5 guys. Actually, it was a pack trip, and it was a 2.5-hour trailer ride away from the ranch. We got there, and I forgot all my bitted bridles. And I had five guys riding horses, and you know, they didn't know any difference. So I said, well, I guess we're going to go halter and lead rope for 5 days. We'll see how that goes. I noticed that my horses were really, really angels, if that's the word to describe them. They were just perfect. And you know, I'm kind of on the edge of my seat when we take off, you know, and I'm actually lead rope and halter. I forgot them all. I mean, they're in a big pile. I'm like, oh, I left them by the door. But anyway, get there, and it's like, they don't know any different. So I'm like, well, let me show you guys how to do this. And it was perfect because tourists, they're going to balance on the reins. They don't know how to ride. They don't know rein control. They don't know anything. They just sit there and they ride and look at the flowers grow. Well, my horses were really, really receptive of that. They're really quiet, and I took that note for sure. I'm like, gosh, I have this one horse. His name's Rodeo, and for a good reason. And he was like the best one, and he's usually chomping and and he was doing all this stuff, and then he didn't do any of that. And I thought, well, we're taking that note down. So it kind of evolved into, from that day, to go to that way, bitless, and then I started seeing all the benefits. We'll go on a trail ride or a pack trip, and I have to take all the gear off the horses, and they're high lined for the night. And then we get up in the morning, and these bitless bridles are all in a pile. We may have 9, 10, 12 horses out there. I can just grab them and go. I don't have to worry about which bit fits this guy. So that's a real good benefit. Another good benefit is I can tie a horse. Like, I have tourists, so I can jump off my horse and drop a rein, and he'll be ground tied. If he were to step on this rein and surprise himself, it's not going to rip his mouth up. Or if one of my tourists is like, I got to go to the bathroom, and there's 5 people there, it's like, all right, tie your horse to that tree right there, and you can go this way. So you can tie your horse to a tree. No one's going to yell at you. In fact, I had a lady yell at me one time because my photographer took a picture of my horse in a bitless bridle tied to a tree with an aspen tree right blocking his. She couldn't tell that he didn't have a bit. Oh man, the Facebook posts were eating that up. You can't tie a horse to a tree with a bit in his mouth, and then of course he didn't have it, but you can do that, so you're not going to get yelled at. You go to a show or something. Once I put a horse in a bit easy. Once I put a horse in a bitless bridle, I never take them out. I can get them super, super duper soft, and they're more comfortable. Can you put your ear down? These little stiff-eared. We'll show you how to get softness in the ears. And I could tie a horse to a gate or panel at shows and stuff. It's real convenient. So that's a bitless bridle, and I designed that to communicate with my horse soft. And then I also needed it to last through all the rigors of trail riding and outfitting day to day. I needed longevity. I tried other ones throughout the years, and it just wouldn't last to the test of time. So this is a very rugged piece of equipment, a very strong, durable piece of equipment. And like I say, I never take my horses out of it. So I use it all the time. I use it for competition. We do competitions with horses. I use it for trail rides, pack trips, training. This is what I start them in. And, the customers that come to me generally stay in them. But once we start a horse in this and he understands the concepts of these pressures, when you do introduce a bit to him, he's already at a level of understanding that's much easier for him to receive that. And then you already have practiced so much softness that this piece of equipment gives you such a large margin of error. You can make a mistake and not be, not have it marked in that horse's little notebook of, hey, you hurt me. I'm going to log that down. You can actually, you can really pull on this and not have that horse resent you. He's just going to get his attention. But if you put a bit in his mouth and that same pressure, and you just multiply that by about 1,000, he's going to say, whoa, dude, that hurt. And I'm going to pay attention to that rather than what you're trying to show me or help me with. Or he wouldn't be as willing to learn. So a lot of my friends that are in bits, they'll use this, get their horses nice and soft. Or their young colts, they'll use this to get their horses nice and soft. And you transfer to a bit. Horse is already set up at that level of understanding where it's so much easier. Sometimes a horse will get heavy on the bit. You can go back to a bitless bridle. You can get them understanding what it is you're expecting, and then go back to a bit and see the benefits of it. Because once a horse gets hurt, he's going to guard himself. That's just, we would do it too. And then I've had some rescue horses come in and they've been hurt so bad, they have trauma in the mouth, so they're just definitely guarding that. To the point where you go to put a bridle on them, they're not going to, they don't want Have had them where I'll put this on, and they're thinking it's a bit, and they're like, no. And after about 4 or 5 sessions, maybe 4 or 5 days, they're like, wow, this is okay. It doesn't hurt. I'm not guarded anymore. So he's just relaxed. He receives that. So it's a real beneficial piece of equipment to do a lot of different things. Anybody have any questions so far?
We have one on here.
Okay.
If a horse is rode in a hack, would this work better?
Well, if you're talking about a mechanical hackamore, yes, because a mechanical hack is going to be loose fitting. This is a form fitting piece of equipment like a glove. So you're going to form this to your horse. It's not really formed to Bubba, and I'll show you the proper fit in just a second. But if you're talking about a mechanical hack, the long shanks, that's a binding device. So if it's ever been used improperly, the horse is going to know, oh man, that hurt, because it just puts him in a vice. Do you guys know what a mechanical hack is, how it works? It's got some shanks, it's got a chain under here, it's got a nose band, and when you apply, it's a leverage piece of equipment. So when you apply rein pressure, it puts a bind on the horse's nose and chin and binds him. So it's a force to submit with pain device if it's used improperly. I'm not going to knock it, because I have some people that use it and have used it for years and years and years and years, and their horses are so soft, they're just fingertips, and I was impressed with it actually. But it's a big clanky metal, I didn't like it for comfort, but this one is a form-fitting device, so I'll just kind of demo on Bubba here how you use it. But whenever we pick up on a rein, we really don't even want it to get tight to use this piece of equipment. We're going to use fingertips, because that'll keep you, subconsciously, that'll keep you soft. Your mindset is softness, softness, softness. So when I pick up on this rein and it just about takes the arc out of that and gets tight, that horse starts to give to it, and I'll give back as a thank you. And then we'll incrementally work back to do what we call a lateral flexion. Do you guys know what lateral flexion is? That's where your horse will bring his head laterally. He will flex backwards, back down here to his shoulder. Headset comes down and to you. So whenever you slide and pick up on a rein, you're just asking a question, a subtle, will you give your face to me? Are you with me? Those are the type questions that I'm asking when I pick up a rein. If I need them to go into a direction, obviously, yes, I'll pick up that, tip the nose, and then apply the gas pedal or the leg, calf muscle, ask them to move off of it. So it's one of those things, if your horse is used to a mechanical hack and you've been using that, absolutely they will understand this and probably appreciate this much more, because they don't have to concentrate on the equipment that's being used. They concentrate on your question you're asking with the equipment. This piece of equipment is not going to hurt the horse. It's actually comfortable. It's like putting a glove on your hand. This is going to form to him. It's going to be comfortable. It's not going to slap him. It's not going to bang on him. When it's fitted properly, it's not going to spiral on his face. Now, like any piece of equipment, if a person takes both reins and they just saw on that nose, yeah, you could probably hurt him. In fact, you could hurt him. So that's not what you want to do. It's proper use of the equipment. A lot of people are scared of these knots. These knots aren't here to really use for any type of pressure point or anything. It's to hold this geometry. I've built this design, this geometry on my own hand. So when you pick up a rein, a soft rein, or inside rein, the pressure is applied evenly over this geometry to ask the face to go this direction. It's not, when you pick up on this, it's not this knot that's given a focal point. This leather here is going to lift up and it's going to spread surface area. So the knot's essentially ineffective for applying a pressure or using it as a pressure point. We're spreading surface area over this triangle, and that's the point. Pick up a rein, you're asking that face. The reason I did it that way is because I had trained some horses to go bridleless, and I'm on the horse and they're getting off legs, so I can pick up a rein and ask, and then as I see the reins, I'm depending less and less and less on reins, and when we do go bridleless, I'm still asking the questions with legs. But there'll be an instance where the horse didn't understand. I gave him a leg and nothing happened, so I reach down there and I just push his face with my hand. But that's not really practical. So nowadays, I use my bitless bridle, and I use legs, and I'll depend less on reins. And if you didn't understand the question with a leg, I just follow up with the rein. It's just that simple. And then we go bridleless. How many of you follow my Facebook page, the fan page? Have you seen how we ride bridleless? No bridle at all. In fact, the advertisement up there, they're advertising the bitless bridle, and he doesn't even have one. I was like, well, that's interesting. so, you know, the thing that I do, the key element in horsemanship for me is I want to really form a unity with this horse where I don't really need ropes and reins and none of that. I want to be able to, I like liberty. I like to push the hip and create the draw and walk with me. I don't want to drag you with me with the rope. So in that 5-part series, we're depending less and less and less on this lead rope and halter to communicate with this horse. It's only there as needed. So if I point to a direction and the horse will go that way, great. I don't need to use a rope to follow up. Or if I point that direction, the horse doesn't understand, I can give him a bump. Okay, I really need you to understand this is what I want. So it's a reinforcement of a question I'm asking with body language. Then when we transfer up here, it's the same thing. I'm going to use this less and less and less as we go. You know, 2 years into it, my boy Moonshine and I, we'd go 8 miles in the mountains, ride to the lake. I didn't even have a bridle. Let's go. We're riding along, and he's happy, and I stop. Yeah, let's look at this. Oh, let's turn over here. It's just an extension of my legs, and that's what I really, really like. And this is just a piece of equipment to get me there, because there's never any pain. There's never any fear of my hands. It's just a really, really good piece of equipment to get me where I really want to go in my horsemanship. And then it's a very good piece of equipment from a trail ride business, because the tourists can come in. I never even have to look back that they're hurting my horse, because the horses will tell them. You know, it's like tourists, we're going up a hill, and I'll look back every once in a while, and the guy's holding on to the reins to keep himself on. And one of my horses will, hey, give me my reins. And then they just keep going. And I tell them, hey, if you feel tugs on your hands, you're holding too much rein pressure. You got to give them some reins. So it's really, really cool. It's kind of a fail-safe for me, for people that don't know how to ride. And that large margin of error in your training is really beneficial, because you can make mistakes, you know. And if you're playing with new, fresh horses that don't really understand, this piece of equipment is what I would use, definitely, to start that conversation, establish that communication, and keep going. So, you have any questions? Yes, you did.
I do. I have a rescue horse, and for some odd reason, try ride him. You know how you tell a horse you tap him to go with your legs. You use leg communication. While you do that, he goes in a bucking frenzy.
Wow.
And I don't know why.
So, let me ask you a few questions to get to that point. So, have you done much on the ground with him?
I do a lot of groundwork with him. He
Yeah.
follows me like a little puppy dog.
Okay, so he's pretty cool there. Have you had, okay, so whenever you saddle him up, you do some more groundwork? And
Yeah,
he never
he's
bucks or anything?
He doesn't buck when you have the saddle on. He's good.
Yeah. So then you mount up and you ask him to go forward. Do you squeeze, or do you use spurs, or what?
I tap him.
Tap him with your legs to go forward.
He just stands there. Tap
Okay.
him again. And then I squeeze my legs and I tap him a little more pressure. And once he gets that pressure, he goes in a bucking frenzy.
Have you had him checked out chiropractically? Like, have you had his body checked? Because generally, if he's docile on the ground, he's relaxed, and then you mount up and nothing's really happened, and you're asking him to go, it's maybe some pain. You know, usually bucking is pain. They're in pain. You know, generally.
Because I know he was a rescue horse. He was abused,
Yeah.
skin and bones. The people.
Is it every time? Have you ever rode him and not had that happen?
I tell him I go walk and he does it.
But when you okay.
Only when I use the legs he'll do that. But
Yeah.
without the legs, he's good.
So remember when I said earlier that there's probably some trauma left in those rescue horses' mouth from being hurt by the bit, and they'll do certain things to show you they're guarding that. It's like this: if you say you were a prisoner and you had handcuffs on you and really tight and for a long, long time, and then all of a sudden you're out of prison and you don't have those anymore, and somebody grabs your arm, you're going to be like, ah, that hurts. It doesn't really hurt, but you're holding that trauma there from it hurting for so long. So maybe, and this is a stab in the dark, maybe he was gigged a lot with spurs, or he was abused in a way where he's guarding those sides. And that's bringing to mind to a horse I have in Colorado with one of my clients. He's a rescue horse, And there's some similar things were happening with him, but even on the ground, I checked this before I got on him. When I go to touch him, he'd bite me. When I go to touch his right side, he'd bite me. I'm like, whoa. I mean, he actually bit me. And I'm like, golly, this guy has some trauma on his sides. Well, we did some research and we found out that he was cowboyed in a bad way as far as that term. Usually cowboys love their horses, but he was gigged so much where he had scar tissue on his sides. Well, we did more investigation. So he was guarding that. So anytime that you would go to touch that just on the ground, he would let you know, hey, don't do that. So as a stab in the dark, maybe he's got some trauma in those sides of being abused or being hurt prior. So what my suggestion would be is you're going to have to desensitize that area on the ground, do a lot of rubbing, a lot of touching, and then whenever you do transfer it to the saddle, it's got to be met with softness, softness, softness. Instead of shooting off straight too, I wish I could demo on a horse, but Bubba's not going to be a good demo. He's not going to demo this.
You can tell him you can come to the Bear Fairgrounds.
Well, check this out. So you got to change something to let them know what you're expecting, and you're dealing with some residual trauma before, so you have to undo that in a way. Instead of asking him to go, when you're on his back, you're going to tip the nose to the left, ask him to do a circle. Do a one leg, not both, one leg. So if I pick up on the left rein, tip that nose, and I apply a right calf muscle, and I start real soft, I give you a demo on this thing. This is my horse. He's headless. So if I'm riding my horse and I pick up on the left rein, I got that head tipped to the left. I want to go that direction. I'm going to turn this toe out. I'm going to give you calf muscle. Just calf muscle. Kiss. And go in a circle. And if you have to increase the intensity of the gas pedal or your calf muscle, you're just going to bump with calf muscle. Don't use the heel yet. Bump with that calf muscle, see? Pick up on that left rein, tip that nose. Get one step, release. Say, thank you, good job. Do it again. Do a complete circle with just calf muscle. Left rein, calf muscle. And then do it to the right. And you just switch legs. So you're in a right rein, left calf muscle. Increase the intensity of the calf muscle. Get a circle. And then relax. Practice that and make that your session. Then whenever you go, you can get your horse to understand, oh, calf muscle just means go, and she takes it away, it means stop. As you use it in conjunction with the rein. I need you to stop your feet. When he stops his feet with the rein, you're going to release that pressure as a thank you. Release everything. So you pick up a rein, tip his nose, apply the pressure to go, take the pressure away from going, hold the face till the feet stop moving with the rein, and give it back. Does that make sense?
Yep, that helps a lot.
Yeah, so do a circle. You're introducing easy, one at a time. And then, when you want to go straight, you're going to start with a circle and just let him walk out of that circle. 5 to 7 strides, slide down, pick up a rein, hold one rein till his feet stop moving, and he gives to that pressure, give it back. Wait, then do the other side. And alternate back and forth, get your horse to understand, hey, these legs are not pain. You don't associate this with pain. You don't have to do that. But I might also ask you to check him out. Have somebody do some body work on him, a massage therapist. I mean, I really believe in that. I have horses that we go on trail rides for 5 days, and I got people that can't balance, don't even know how to stay centered. They sore my horses just by sheer, horses having to work, So I'll get a massage on the horse, and man, he's just like, oh yeah. His leg will go out and his head's, I mean, it's a funny thing to watch sometimes. Or sometimes they'll kick the ground because they get these releases. It's like, yeah. And I like massages, so that's... Do we have any massage therapists? There you go. So, yeah. Are you equine massage?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So you need to go talk to her. Give her a card. Because you generally, I should just have started with this, it's probably pain. 9 times out of 10, it's probably associated with some sort of pain. If it's trauma they're holding on to, or if it's actual right now pain, that's why horses buck, or that's what they're screaming loud. I'm in pain. I don't agree with this. Generally. Yeah, it could be something internal. Do some more investigating. I could probably tie this whole seminar up with investigating what you feel. How long have you had him, stuff like that. But
I had him for a year.
Yeah. But yeah. Maybe talk to her.
So we have some general questions on our Facebook, and I think basically what we need to explain to them that at any point in their life stage, whether they've started with a bit or they're green broke and they're getting started later in life, is this a good piece of equipment
Absolutely.
for a horse to use?
Absolutely. Because you can go back. I take rescue horses that are 20 years old and they're off the track thoroughbreds, or who knows their history. I'll ask them everything I need to know with a lead rope and halter. I'll transition them to a bitless bridle. It doesn't matter their age, background. I don't even care. I'll go to places and I don't even ask the background. We'll play with 15 horses in a row, and we're assessing them. We'll see what they do, what they understand. I can put them in a bitless bridle at any age, at any level, and ask them these questions, because that's what we're doing. We're asking questions, we're taking notes, and based on that feedback, we're making changes. If it's undesirable that the horse has given us, I can change here and represent it and get the desired responses that I want. And I'm never going to hurt my horse. I'm never going to cause him any pain or fear. So absolutely, at any stage, any time, you can transition to a bitless bridle. So that's the best answer I could give you. Does that make sense? Any other questions?
I guess I have a question.
Yeah.
I have an off-the-track thoroughbred, and he was never spooky in the beginning, but he's stronger and more healthy now, and I'm noticing that he's becoming more spooky. Do you have any advice on how to make them more confident?
Yes. So confidence. How do we get confidence? Well, we have to think ahead for known variables. We have to prepare them, and we have to practice. So what I'll do, as a horse becomes like that, usually he may be having some confusion or distortion in communication. So I'll establish clear communication of what I expect from him. And I use that 5-part series. If I can ask him specific questions and he responds quietly, not chaotically, and relaxed, but responds. He's not like lazy and deadhead. He responds willingly, but calm and relaxed. And we progress upon that into riding. So a horse that, off the track thoroughbred may associate some things and then get a heightened state of awareness all of a sudden. I'll ask him questions that I know he knows the answers to help him reduce confusion and reduce anxiety. Come to me for comfort. Because I'll going into a clinic, with a horse, I'll show you how to trigger body responses like this. Ta-da! You can even do that. He doesn't do anything. It's like, great! It's like, hiya! But it's just one of those things where I want to be able to trigger a body response of relaxation at any given time by asking him a question that I know he knows the answers to. Does that make sense? So we got a horse that's great at the ranch. All right, okay, now we're going to the river walk. And there's bikes and dogs and frisbees and ducks and, you name it, it's there. So we're riding down the river walk and my horse is like, oh my gosh, a park bench. I'm like, really? There's a duck over there, you don't care? Park bench. I'll just ask him a question that I know he knows the answers to. And he's like, some of them will look at you. I mean, I love it. I'll be right there and I go, I know it's a park bench. And his eye comes right to me. What do? I'm like, well, give me your face. So I'll give a lateral flexion. And he's like, okay, cool. All right, now what? I'm like, well, do you want to walk over and look at it? So I'll ask him a question I know he knows the answers to, and we tiptoe over. He's like, I don't know, Justin. I'm like, you can do this. And he's like, looks at me again. Now what? I'm like, give me your face. And he relaxes a little bit. I triggered that body response of relaxation. And then he licks and chews. Tension in the mouth goes away. Okay. And then he goes and sniffs it, and he's like, oh, that's dumb. Can't believe I was scared of that. He's like looking around, like, cool, well, let's go. So we go. So that's the best answer I could give you for that. Anytime a horse displays heightened sense of awareness, I'm right there asking questions. I'm right there. I'm like, hey, will you turn left? Will you turn right? Will you give me your face? Will you do a figure eight? How about a circle? I'm asking questions. Horse double punches the ground, 6 strides where the dead run. What do? I start asking questions, not restrain them. That just adds fuel to a fire. I'm going to start asking, hey, will you do a big, gigantic 60-yard circle for me, and I'll spiral you down into a corkscrew, and then we'll stop your feet, and we'll see why you ran. And I'm looking around, and I'm like, it's a squirrel! Who knows? So it's one of those things. That's the best answer I can give. I love those, though, because they keep you on your toes. It's like, all right, what's this guy all about?
Shire mare for you.
We'll bring it.
You love those.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I actually do. My Moonshine, he just passed away 2 months ago from colic.
God, I had a moonshine.
Yeah, that's my boy. And he was one of those that would, you know, I'm out of here. Double punch, we're out of here. And you're not going to restrain him. He's a little wild Mustang, and he's like, no, I'm out of here. Like, and I said, okay, we're going to Denver. I'm 2.5 hours away. And we're, you know, and about 5 times of that, you know, he's like, I don't want to do this anymore, Justin. You're a psycho. I was like, darn, that was fun while it lasted. You know, but I'd start asking him questions I knew he knew the answers to. I didn't want him to stop. I take it back. I wanted him to stop, but I didn't want to restrain him to get there. I wanted it to be his idea. And after about 4 runs of 5 miles, he's like, okay, yeah, that's not good. So, yeah. A lot of people want to restrain their horses. You know, and then they'll teach them to get leverage against them. And so on the ground in the 5-part series, we show depend less and less on the ropes. Going to use their energy against them, so to speak, to where it becomes their idea to do what it is our idea was. So you'll never hear me use the word lunge. I don't lunge them to their tire. I will ask them to do specific things. If they run around me, I'll tolerate it for a few minutes, but then I'll start redirecting. It's harder for a horse to go this way, turn, and go this way, and turn, and go this way, than it is for him to just do circles. So he's going to go, I'm tired of turning. And then I go, good, I was tired of turning. And then we just both get what we want. So then I transfer it to the horse, same thing. He's pushing against that bridle more than I want him to. I'm like, fine, let's go. And I'll just guide those feet where I want them to go, use his energy against him, let it transfer into the ground where it needs to go. And then his idea will be like, well, I'm really tired of doing these figure eights and circles. And I'm like, good, because I'm really tired of asking you to do it. And he's like, well, I'm just going to walk, so you leave me alone. I'm like, good. We both got what we want. So that's the way it works. It's pretty cool. Have any other questions? How many have horses?
How many have too many horses?
Yeah. I have 15, so I feel your pain. What breeds are we dealing with? Like Shire, what else do you have? What? You have Mustangs. Okay.
Appaloosa and Arab mix.
Nice.
9-year-old St. Lucie and 3-year-old thoroughbred.
Yeah? Yeah?
Got a Clyde, Percheron, Hackney Pony, horses. Yeah.
Arabian saddlebred.
Arabian saddlebred? Yeah. I got a kind of a motley crew myself. You know, I got 7 BLM Mustangs, and I've got Appaloosa. I just lost an English Arab, a quarter horses.
Do you, when you're working your horses, when you're first getting them in and learning about them, I know with us, we ended up having 2 Mustangs given to us. It's a long story, but
They're the most expensive thing when people give you a thing.
actually they haven't been, which has been great.
Typically.
But you know, we have, and of course I've always had other horses, thoroughbreds, and right now I have a Frisian sport horse. But we noticed when we got our Mustangs, their body language was completely different. And so when we put them together with our horses looked at them and go, they're like, what are you talking about? Like, and I've noticed even like just us working with our Mustang versus other ones, we have to change how we present ourselves to them because they're just different.
Yeah, see.
I actually like them better.
Yeah, me too. All right, good. Now let me talk about what I like to talk about, Mustangs. So Mustangs are, they're born in the wild. So generally they're captured at 3 or 4 years old. So they've lived in the wild. They're taught to think. They analyze everything, life and death. So we have to understand what we're dealing with. That's where they've taught me the most. This horse here taught me the most about myself and how I thought that I was doing what I should do with horses. But whenever you train a wild horse wild, by definition, just uninterrupted by humans. When you train a wild horse that hasn't been in the human element, you start inviting them in, they're going to analyze every single thing you do. And it's life and death to them. Domestic horses, they analyze things like, what's in the green bucket? That's about it. So you got a lot of play and a lot of ability to make mistakes, and it's not held against you and stuff like that. But these wild horses, they're going to look at things like proper introduction to a wild horse. He has to smell you. You have to allow him to smell you. You have to allow energy to sync up. You really have to just take your time to do that. It's a proper introduction. I mean, you watch a wild horse go introduce himself to other horses. He's checking you out, you know. So it's not it's very dynamically different as far as playing with a wild horse, playing with a domestic horse in that regard, that they analyze everything. And once they get it, they got it. That's what I like about it. And see, you said something, you like them better, and I've noticed this. I like mine better in the trail ride business for tourists because they're all business. They do what they're supposed to do. They're not going to be confrontational with other horses. They're not like, kicking at. My domestics are back there, you know, you're walking too slow, and he bites the guy in front of him. The Mustang's like, he's walking that speed. I'll keep my distance. You know, they just, in the herd, they're so respectful. They're so, it's life and death. It's preservation of themselves and their herd, and they understand those things. You know, they had to think. From the time they hit the ground as a baby, they had to think. So I encourage that whenever we start training, I want you to think about this. So like yesterday, when you watch that video of that little wild horse, I would ask her a question, and she'd do it, and then she'd turn and she'd give me everything. Like, now what? And I'm like, well, good. I want you to think. Give you that time to think. Because when I transfer your back, I'd rather you think than react. So those are the things that you're going to notice on those wild horses. If they can think, you just give them a second to think, and then they process it, they do it, it's done. It's good. So like in my cancer camp with our children, those wild horses are better than my domestics. The domestics are like, you know, itching up against stuff, and a wild horse, he's not going to do that, you know. And domestics, like, you know, cocking his foot and falling asleep. The Mustang, he's going to stand there. You know, they just do certain things. They respect each other. Like kids want to play bumper cars with the horses. You know? The domestics will do it all day long, but the Mustangs are like, no, we got to be respectful. We can't bump into that other horse. You know? And the kids on the Mustangs like, he won't do it. Like, yeah, he's not supposed to.
He's going to get kicked if he does
Yes, he's very respectful of his herd mates, you know. But the domestics, they're not so much. They're like, yeah, I'll crash into him. Boom. So, just certain things. And when we're doing a trail ride, and I look back, my Mustangs are just cruising along, doing what they're supposed to. Some of my domestics are like, I want to go eat some grass over here. You know, and it's like just bump his reins, take him on. I'm always hollering at the domestics, you know, or like my domestics are turning around like, I'm going back to the barn. And then the Mustangs are like, you're not supposed to do that. In fact, I'll tell you a cool story about my Mustang that's I've had for 10 years. He's a double owner before me, reject. He was traded for a tank of propane.
Oh, wow.
He was sold to some guys in Wyoming. They came down, they roped him. He jumped the fence and got lost in National Forest for 3 months, dragging rope and rope. He jumped in with another buddy's herd of 23 head. They call me, the Mustang guy. Hey, you want this crazy Mustang? I mean, they don't want him. They actually want to put him down. I was like, yeah, I want him. And he's my best horse. He is so good that I can ground tie that horse in a parking lot of trucks at a rodeo or something, and he'll stay there for 3 hours. I mean, he's just like, yep, know my job. So he's really cool to take places and show how much he really cares about his job. He's one of those horses that is a passive leader. So actually I learned more from that horse on how to lead my other horses. He cares more about who he leads than being the leader. Now I have a second in command. He's an aggressive leader, and he gets the horses to do what he wants, but when I lead him away, they're like giving him the hoof. When I lead Whiskey away, they're like 5 or 6 are coming with us. You know? And I literally put Whiskey in the trailer. I'm having to fight the others. No, you can't come. Get them out. So I thought, wow, I want to be like Whiskey. I want to be that leader to these horses. I want them to want to come with me. So he's real passive. He's just a great horse. I take tourists all in the mountains, and we have wire gates. So I ground tie Whiskey, and I go open a wire gate, and I go through it, and then the tourists come through, and then I take Whiskey and ground tie him on the other side, and I turn my back to them, you know, and I put the gate on, and I get back on, and I tell them, I say, hey, you guys stop at that aspen tree up there, and I get back on my horse, and I'll pass all them, and we get back, and we're guiding the trail ride. One of my buddies was like, Justin, you got to video that horse doing that. That's amazing. He just stands there and waits on you, and that's so cool. And he's like, okay. And I just got an iPhone like 9 months ago, so I'm trying. I'm like, I'm trying to do it. And I forgot to tell them to stop at that aspen tree like I've done every 1,000 times. And I'm fiddling with the phone. I'm like, hey, Whiskey, you know, I'm doing the gate with one hand. And Whiskey leaves. And I'm like, you can see it. I'm filming the ground. I'm like, hey, Whiskey. And he's holding his rein out. And he goes in front of the herd. And he stops. And he's like, Dad, look, I'm stopped. And he stopped the herd. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell him to stop the tree. He knew that they weren't supposed to do that. I was like, wow, what an amazing horse. But he paid attention all those years where they stopped, and we just did that, and I got it out doing it. You know, pretty cool.
He's like, Dad, you're not paying attention. I have to stop the horse.
Yes, so those Mustangs, they take their job very, very serious because it's life and death to them. Once they understand what you're expecting from them, that's that serious to them. They're like, no, I have to do this. So ground tying him in a parking lot, that's life and death. He's like, no, I got to do this. I have to do this. And I've had people drive by and he'll move his rear, but he doesn't pull off ground tie. And then another car's coming. He's like, well, I'll get over here, and that car goes by. He knows. But I'm the only one that's been playing with him for 10 years. So it's one of those things where he understands what I expect of him. I have to be riding along. I have to know that horse. I have to know him so intimately that I can jump off, drop a rein, go help a kid or a client. Usually I'm getting gloves off the ground or camera lenses or whatever. But I have to go get that, and I know my horse is going to be there. We did a pack trip in the South San Juans about 5 years ago. I had 5 hunters from Texas. And we're going through this one single trail all the way through a pasture. And my pack starts slipping and stuff's falling out, and we're leaving breadcrumbs. And one of the guys at the back is like, hey, that pack, something's wrong. And I look, I'm like, ah. So I get off, I ground time the horse, I go 2 horses back to a pack horse, and I'm back there fixing the pack and everything, and the second horse, he was new. He wanted to go. He's like, well, I'm leaving. Whiskey blocked him with his rear. It's like, no, you can't go. And then he tried to go the other way. He's like, you can't go. You can't go. That's how serious they take their job. And I will quit outfitting when Whiskey gets out, because he makes me better than I am. He's
So where
just
was Moonshine and all that?
Oh, Moonshine was my demo horse that I took all over the country to different training, and he was my horse that I go do things in the mountains to get restorative silence. You know, he and I connected on a level different than Whiskey, but similar in ways. Moonshine taught me how to be strong but gentle, because Moonshine was probably 10 horses in one as far as a powerhouse of an animal. I mean, he's beautiful, solid, thick muscle. And there's no way, I mean, he told me many times, I can break you in half. I'm like, I get that. But he would say, no, don't do it that way. Do it this way. And then I'd say, oh, okay. So he taught me more about myself than any other horse, and then he helped me understand how to help other people with their horses. So Moonshine was a phenomenal animal for me to have the pleasure to even meet, much less get to learn from. He taught me so much. But yeah, actually 2 months ago, so I can just now talk about it without crying. I mean, I love that horse. Like, I actually feel like...
Unexpected illness?
Yeah, he had a small intestine problem where it choked off blood supply with some kind of a growth and killed 12 feet of his intestine. And it happened in a matter of a few days because I had a health cert done on Thursday. He died on Sunday. Yeah, it was not fun. But it's one of those things, you know, that's why these horses they cross our path. And I actually feel like I'm horseless. I have 15, but that guy and I we were comical buddies. I mean, you should have seen us together. He was a comical guy. I was taking a promo picture with him one time, and I'm all trying to be on. And when they snapped the picture, I could tell you what he was thinking. He's like, "What are you doing?" And he's got his head turned, looking at me like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Come on, we're posing." And he was a comedy guy, man. I mean, he loved that attention. Like, I could ride him bridleless in front of a crowd, and he would just make me look like I knew what I was doing. And I'm like, hey, you do what you do. And I'm like, I'm just riding. He's all, yeah, it's cool. But that's part of it. You know, you get to learn these horses. You get to learn from them. And self-discovery through horses is really cool. I haven't touched much on that, but that's what we do with our kids. That's what we do with an adult program we just started. We do it with PTSD veterans. So it's self-discovery through horses is pretty cool because you can ask horse questions about yourself, and they're not going to judge you. They don't do that. And I can just be there to be the catalyst for that to happen. But it's really cool to see a person start playing with a horse and start finding out about themselves. And that'd be a whole nother seminar, but it's pretty fun. So look us up on Facebook. Are we running out of time? Look us up on Facebook. Justin Dunn Mustang Horsemanship is my Facebook fan page. And then if you want to join our group, text me or whatever you call that. Message me, and I'll give you the link to that. So it looks like we're going to give away some stuff here.
We're giving away that one. 'Cause
Oh,
that's
okay.
regular horse size. I didn't know if you wanted to just show.
So we
the
have a
two
draft
different-
size bitless bridle. You guys, anybody ride drafts? Somebody said they had drafts. Yeah, that's the draft size. You can check it out.
Then this is just the
The new
darker
one,
oiled.
the
Yeah,
Canyon
that's
Rose.
the Canyon Rose Dark Oil Cowboy Collection. It's pretty cool. Hey, if you does anybody use black bridles? Okay, go to Weaver's Leather's Facebook page and beat up their page. Tell them we need black bitless bridles.
Or kindly
And all you guys watching, if you want black bitless bridles, tell them that we want black bitless bridles.
I promised somebody yesterday that,
Yeah, we get so many requests. Any questions on that, Jess?
No?
Well, thanks for watching, and be sure and like and comment on Big D's Facebook page. Tell them you love them. I want to see the word love in there.
And that you want Justin to come back sometime.
Yeah, tell me when they come
to
back.
bring them back for sure. So.
Yeah,
Well, we need to go see him. Where are you going?
I'm in Guffey, Colorado.